KCSE results came out recently, right, over Christmas for many of you. It was a shock. There was a huge dip. Watu walipata manini? Mai. Mae ama mai? Sana sana mai. Well, we're going to have a discussion about that, about what happens after the grades. Does that define you? The fact that you didn't get a C+ or above, does that define you? The fact that only 141 students got A's, does that define everyone else? So I'm joined here by two lovely young people to have that discussion. I want you guys to introduce yourselves, tell us a bit about yourselves. We'll start with you.
Okay, thank you. My name is Amadou Chico Sissoko. I'm used to that now. So my name is Amadou Chico Sissoko.
Don't mind them.
Okay.
Don't mind
so
them.
I'm a business angel and a business diplomat from Guinea.
You said you're a business?
I'm a business angel.
Okay.
And a business diplomat.
Did you say angel?
Angel, yes.
Okay.
So angel investment.
Okay.
And a business diplomat. I'm the representative of the Chambers of Guinea in Kenya.
Wow.
So I'm the youngest business diplomat of the history of my country.
Oh, all right.
Let me tell you like this. I've dropped out of 3 universities in the past. I dropped out of med school.
Can you guys listen to this story? It's very
So I dropped out of med school. I dropped out of engineering school. And then I dropped out of business school.
So where were you intending on going now that you've dropped out of
Exactly. So my dad is a famous surgeon in my country. He's the first private. He created the first private clinic in Guinea, and so he expected me to be like his image, to be a doctor as well. And I had a scholarship for medicine. I went to Czech Republic, and before I even started the courses, I realized that wasn't for me because I was realizing his dream, his passion. Mm-hmm. So I dropped out. And when I dropped out, I remember I told myself, since I was going to have a year, and my friends were going to continue in school, I was going to learn as much as possible so that I would still be ahead of myself and ahead of my generation. Mm-hmm. So that's when I started learning about personal development and psychology. And
so found your niche, sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Then I went to engineering. There also I dropped out. Then I went to business school in Senegal. Mm-hmm. In business school there, I was in a very good business school, but then the teachers wanted me to wait until I finished school to start creating a business.
I see.
And so it came to a point where I realized that wasn't my path. I really wanted to learn. I like learning myself. Mm-hmm. So I decided to just start building businesses.
Okay, so it sounds like you have some really great insight for the conversation that we're about to have. Thanks for being here. We'll move over to the beautiful lady. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good.
Tell us about yourself.
My name is Olive Carmen.
Like I said, don't mind them.
I am a drummer, I'm a musician, and I've also studied interior design and foundation in architecture.
Mm-hmm. You guys know this face. You've seen her somewhere, right? She's part of the Blaze generation. Good stuff. All right, so, I gave just a brief description of what happened in KCSE recently. It was a huge shock, I think, for the whole country. 141 A's. Countrywide. That's a drop from 2,636 in 2015. Now, this, according to the Ministry of Education, they say, there was no cheating, no leakage, and that's why everything kind of tightened up. The people who got C+ and above were only 88,929, as opposed to in 2015, 165,766. So what happens now to everybody else? I think that's the shock that everyone is still reeling from. Parents and former candidates as well. There's a lot of people in despair, a lot of people feeling like, all right, well, I'm done. Me and my E, where do we go? you know. And so that's a discussion I just wanted to have, and just to encourage people that there is life after grades, as we've heard sort of from your story. But Olive, what are your thoughts generally about this?
Oh, well, generally, I feel like high school could have mattered, but to like half, 50%, it really didn't matter, because looking at my year when I finished high school, like half of the people I was with in school, they're just at home, and they got really good grades. So I feel like your grade really doesn't matter if you don't have a plan, and whatever you got, like, it does not define you whatsoever.
It's all about the plan. It's all about the plan. Okay, all right. So I want to talk a little bit about the African culture and African parents. Like you were saying, they expect you to be a doctor, an engineer, a lawyer. If it's not one of those things, they feel like you have not succeeded. Do you feel like there's a shift in how our parents are thinking about this? Are we still getting pressure, you know, to not pursue the arts? She's a drummer, you know, to just keep within that line?
Yeah, definitely. I think that parents themselves come from a culture where their parents were the ones who used to define what they would become. So they're used to that. In their psychology, it's normal for a parent to know better than for the child. But we live in an era where with your phone, you have access to more information than what your parents could have had, even if they read all the books that were in the library. You see, so our minds are much more open, we're much more exposed. If you look at this group of young people, they could educate their parents, right? So it comes to a point where you have to have that inner compass of, like she said, having a plan, of at least having an idea of what you want to become. While you're still in high school. I suppose even you, there was a point of your life when someone would have told you being a TV presenter is like being a call girl. I can even say that. Yeah, definitely. People will be thinking,
my parents weren't.
Yeah, you won't be on TV unless you're sleeping with someone. Like, you won't be a musician, a famous person, unless you're someone's hot chick. But that time has changed, because now talent is what matters. So I tell people all the time, you have to pursue that which you believe is your gift. And if it's something which has been given to you, you will see it. You will be the best at it. People will tell you you're a great musician. This is something you're good at. People will tell you you're a great speaker. You know? So
how young were you when you realized that you wanted to be a drummer?
When I was growing up, I knew I was going to be a musician. Like, it was music. It was not even a discussion. They knew it. Because my eldest brother, he plays drums for Eric Wainaina. So when I cleared high school, there's normally that gap between like when you're waiting for your results.
Yeah.
So that's where everyone is doing languages and computers. I was just there. Like, I was just hanging out with them. Because I didn't want to engage myself to things that I knew I was not ready for. So with that, I just got to be around him, because, you know, like, when you're growing up, you only think about music as just singing.
Yeah.
But now when I got into it, I saw, like, that music is just broad, so wide. And being around my brother, I could have my way around the drums. So I just figured, let me try. It was a trial and error, by the way.
But you have to try.
Yeah. Like, in life, you just have to try to find it. Yeah.
You have to try.
You have to try.
I'll be taking some feedback. I'll be taking some feedback from the audience and from Twitter as well. So if you're watching, just keep tweeting 10/10 if you have any thoughts on this discussion. But you know what? It's all well and good for us to sit here and say, it's not the end, life is going to be okay. You know, because hindsight, we're looking at it from a point of, you finally made it. Yeah. But for someone like right now, in that moment of just feeling like I've let my family down, I've let myself down, am I going to have to repeat? Am I, like, what tangible things can you tell that person to do right now?
So right now, and I'll take example on myself, right? When I dropped out of med school, my dad cut me from, like, everything. it literally, like, he told me I wasn't his son anymore, right? So imagine your father tells you something like that. It's very painful. All your friends think you're crazy. I was smoking weed at the time, all the time.
So it's so funny the things that get applause in this audience.
Yeah, so
let him continue with his story.
So I was every day I used to numb my senses, like I was high all the time. But then there's a very thin line between desperation and determination, right? I would tell anyone who, and it's not just this exam, any failure you go through is actually a sign that either something is wrong or you're not on the right path or you haven't done something right. If someone got an E, we can't just say, oh, well, yeah, it doesn't define you. It defines you in some point because you weren't ready for the test as well. Like, it's also, we can't take away the A+ from the student who got the A+.
But it should define you in a way that it teaches you a lesson.
Exactly.
Not just...
Exactly. So you shouldn't be the one to psychologically tell yourself, I'm an E, but how can you now look at this experience and say, what else am I very good at that I can become an A+ in? And fight so that you can define that. And I promise you, if you narrow your focus only on school, there's so much in life that you're gonna miss out on. Like there's all this, right? I did a bit of research on her, and I saw, and it came to me the same way. I'm thinking, this is someone who saw that I can be something, and worked harder than everyone else around her.
That's
you know,
the key.
and then the people who could help her grow came. But they don't come when you're sitting at home and crying. You know, no one's gonna come help you when you're like, oh, everything is bad. People are just gonna make fun of you. But if you say, oh, I got a knee, but I'm a good dancer, I'm a good soccer player, I'm a good basketball player, let me go and work hard there, people are gonna come.
I just want to read out a couple of tweets so we can involve the people tweeting online. Bruno Anthony is saying, guys, failure is not the end of life. Cap says, life always continues. One failure does not define your destiny. Bruno again saying, I love your courage, Olive. Somebody else, Eugene, saying, exactly, there is life after KCSE. Bad grades should not determine nor define your future. And I love the resilience that I'm seeing here. I was seeing a story about a young man who got an A but decided he wanted to go and become a football player. You know, and I think having that type of realm where we can roam and say, all right, I'm good at this, but I'm also good at this, and I'm passionate about this, is very important. So Olive, maybe you can just speak to the aspect of passion and being the very best in your field.
Well, this is what I believe. I believe there is a reason and a purpose for everyone. And you just need to find that thing that makes you feel content with yourself and make it your path, like make it what you're going to work towards, because there's no point of engaging in stuff that at the end of the day you're questioning yourself about them. So this is what I'm going to tell you. I've been saying this over and over again throughout the Blaze Summits, but still I'm here. You have a dream, just follow it. It knows the way.
Yeah, that's beautiful advice. And I think the thing, again, is that we shouldn't compare ourselves too much to other people. You know, there are people who can sing.
Actually, onto that, this is what I got from, there's this young lady from Kisumu. She was just like, after now we had our talks and everything, she came to me, she was like, you know what? This is what I got from you. I just need to be on my own lane where there's no traffic, where I can't see anyone, like I know what I'm going towards, and I'm going at my own pace. And she actually made a lot of sense. Like, I sat down and I was like, actually, yeah. When you're on your own lane, there's no traffic. Like, there's no one sumboing you anywhere around you.
Don't try and be a better version of
somebody
else.
Be a better version of yourself.
Of yourself.
Just make it.
And I think it's important to note that bad grades happen to everyone. How many of you have ever gotten bad grades? Like, come on. Like me, I failed all of the chemistries. and the physics, like that was not my lane, you know. And at some point I had to realize my strengths and focus on that. So maybe you can talk about that the comparison and the pressure sometimes that we feel to be like.
Well, I'll take an example, right? I come to this show, which is a young person show. I could have come with, you know, torn jeans and, you know, and try to look like all of you and say, yeah, we're all together, you know. But that's not me, right? I wouldn't feel comfortable because inside me I know that I'm trying to be someone else. And it's the same thing that we live on a day-to-day basis. Since high school, right? Everybody wants to be the popular girl, the popular guy. So we start to assimilate ourselves to people. But let's even look at life in general. God himself, right? If he is in us, right? Who should we be? We should be ourselves. We shouldn't try to be a replica of someone else because that person was created for a different purpose than we are. So the purpose for which you're created, if you're not that person authentically 24/7, you will never realize your potential. So for me, it's like I told my dad one day when we weren't getting along, I told him, I said, Dad, I've tried to be like you, it didn't work, right? I've tried to be like myself and it's working very well. So I will go as far as I can trying to be myself. Now, if you support that, I will be even more. But if you don't, I will make so much success that people will come to you, they'll tell you, oh, your son is so great, he's done this, he's done that, and you will feel proud for it. And that's what exactly happened. You know, he became proud through other people telling him of what his son was doing. So you can't be successful even in your own home or in yourself, if you try to act like someone else or like something else. It never works. Never works. You're born for something, find that thing, hustle your ass off so you can make it happen.
I'm feeling the spirit tonight. We're going to take final comments. We'll start with you, Olive, because there are a lot of discouraged people who are just tuning into this conversation and really resonating with it. Seeing your success and seeing the path that you've taken, maybe just give that person a word of encouragement.
First and foremost, just know you're on that journey by yourself. You're the only one who's going to determine who is in with you or who's out. Because right now you could be having so many friends, but they're meaningless. Because I lost so many friends. And it's adding up now. And then that thing that you know that you really want to do, be it dancing, be it drumming, be it singing, you're the only one who knows you can do it. But now you need to prove it to the society that this is what I want to do.
Just like FBI dancers preach to us every week here on Set Over Thread. That's the very best.
and it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard convincing your parents. It's gonna be hard everywhere. Like it's going to be a hassle. It's gonna bring in so many things. But at the end of the day, if it's what you really want to do, like why not fight for it?
Yeah. Minute or less, give us a word of life after grades and exams.
So I wanted to tell you all one thing. Kenya particularly, right? You guys are very, very fortunate to have a very aggressive and competitive culture. So the culture here churns out the weak. It's like the jungle. It kills the weak and it keeps the strong, right? So that means that whatever you want to do, there's more people giving up than people who are persevering. So if you just do 1 hour more, like if you read one book more, if you work 1 hour more, you're gonna beat so many other people who are giving up in what you want to become. So go out there, whatever you had, forget the grades, look at the future. Take 100 days even. Look at the one thing that you can succeed in the next 100 days. Like just that small thing that you can have as a success in the next 100. Forget everything else. Just focus on one thing that you know, I can make a success in this in the next 100 days. And focus, put all your effort in that one thing. Once you get that little success, it will give you self-confidence so that you can do it again. So in a year we have how much? 365 days, right? If you get 3 good wins in the year, I'm telling you, you've done better than 90% of the population because everyone else is giving up.
listen. And like every time I look into this crowd, I see, you know, future dancers and future singers and future fashion designers. And people who are going to invent things and business owners. So you guys just take heart in knowing it's not the end, it's never the end. Just keep going, find out what your lane is, like the panelists have told you. Stay in your lane and work hard. Thank you so much for being here. Let's give a hand to our panelists tonight. All right, much more coming up on the show, so let's check out what's coming up next.